Let's talk about what happens when two totally different, powerful cultures meet. Not on a battlefield, but with brick and stone. We're diving into the story of Indo-Islamic architecture, this absolutely stunning new visual language that was born from centuries of fusion in India. Just look at this. This is the Buland Darwaza, the Gate of Magnificence. It was built as a triumphal arch, and you can just feel the power in it. Its sheer scale, that bold red sandstone, it just perfectly captures the grandeur of the style we're about to unpack. So let's get into it. So this is really the central question for us today, isn't it? What happens when one architectural tradition with its own deep, rich history slams into another one with a completely different way of thinking about things? Well, the answer is literally carved in stone all across the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so our story really kicks off back in the 12th century. Rulers from Persia and Central Asia arrive, and they bring with them their own ideas, their own architectural philosophy. And this wasn't just some gentle mixing of styles. No, it was a genuine collision of two very, very different ways of thinking about space, about structure, and about what you put on the walls. And here is the core of that difference. On one side, you've got the native Indian tray beat style. Think posts and beams, kind of like building with Legos, right? And it's covered in these amazing ornate sculptures of gods, goddesses, animals, people. Then on the other hand, you have the incoming arcuate style. This was all about arches and domes, which let you create these huge open spaces inside. And the decoration? A completely different world. No figures at all. Instead, it was all about intricate geometric patterns and beautiful calligraphy. So before we jump headfirst into the history, let's just quickly get familiar with the new vocabulary, the new architectural language that emerged from this fusion. Think of these as the key ingredients you're going to see over and over again. First up, we have arabesque. Now, because Islamic art generally forbade depicting living beings, the artists became absolute masters of geometry and pattern. Arabesque is all about these flowing, interlacing lines of stems and leaves. It's a way to decorate a surface that feels both incredibly mathematical and somehow totally alive. You can see it right here, can't you? The lines just endlessly weave and branch out, pulling your eye across the whole surface. It creates this amazing sense of infinite rhythmic pattern, which became a real hallmark of this new decorative style. Next, we have the jolly, which is basically a perforated stone screen. And these were not just for looks. In a place with a climate like India's, they were a totally brilliant, low-tech form of air conditioning. They'd let the breeze come through, but would diffuse that harsh sunlight into a soft, gentle glow. But they also did this. They turned light itself into part of the art. These screens would cast these incredible, ever-changing patterns of shadow on the floors and walls. It's such a perfect blend of practical function and just profound beauty. And finally, there's pietra dura. This is the height of luxury, really. It's this incredibly meticulous technique where tiny, perfectly cut pieces of semi-precious stones, we're talking lapis lazuli, jade, carnelian, are inlaid into marble to create these stunning designs. And the level of artistry here is just mind-blowing. Every single petal and leaf you see is a separate piece of stone, flawlessly fitted into the marble. This technique would reach its absolute peak under the Mughals, as we're about to see. All right, so now that we know the basic building blocks, let's see how they were all put together. Our journey starts with the Delhi Sultanate. You can think of this period as the laboratory, the testing ground, where the first real experiments in fusing Indian and Islamic styles really happened. So you can see this amazing progression over time. The early slave dynasty, well, they often just repurposed bits and pieces from existing Indian temples. Then the Khiljis came along and really championed the true arch. After them, the Tughlaqs, who were dealing with constant threats, built these strong, fortress-like buildings with sloping walls for extra stability. And finally, the Lodis introduced this super clever double dome. It let them build a huge, impressive dome on the outside while keeping the ceiling inside at a more human, intimate scale. This one image of the Qutub Minar complex really says it all. You can literally see the story right there on the ground. On one side, you have these pillars, with their traditional carvings, taken directly from older Hindu and Jain temples. And then, rising above it all, is this grand new minaret, a massive symbol of the new Islamic power. This is fusion in its rawest, earliest form. And then, after the Sultanate, came the Mughals. Now, if the Sultanate was the laboratory where the ideas were tested, the Mughal Empire, well, that was the grand theater. They took all those foundational elements we just talked about and elevated them into one of the most breathtaking architectural styles the world has ever seen. The Mughal signature is just unmistakable. We're talking about massive forts and gateways, these elegant onion-shaped domes and slender minarets, and they laid out these perfectly symmetrical gardens called charbagh, which were meant to be a little slice of paradise on earth. They absolutely mastered using both powerful red sandstone and pristine white marble, creating a style that felt both strong and incredibly refined, a true synthesis of Persian, Turkish, and Indian traditions. And this comparison captures the evolution within the Mughal era perfectly. On the left, you've got the Agra fort from Emperor Akbar's time. It's strong, it's masculine, built from that powerful red sandstone. But then look to the right. You see the massive shift under Shah Jahan. For him, white marble was everything. It symbolized purity, heavenly order. The style literally evolved from projecting raw power to embodying a kind of divine perfection. But, the story doesn't just stop when the Mughal Empire declines. This new architectural language was so powerful, so beautiful, that it was adopted and adapted by other kingdoms all across India. And that's where we get these fascinating new regional styles. I mean, just look at the Hawa Mahal in Jaipur. This is a Rajput palace through and through. But the Mughal influence is just so clear, right? You see it in the rows of arched windows, the decorative touches. The Rajputs took these elements they liked and blended them with their own traditions of colorful balconies and detailed carving, creating something uniquely their own. And here, at the Golden Temple, the most sacred shrine in Sikhism, we see it again. That beautiful fluted dome on top, the little kiosks or chhatris on the roof, these are features borrowed straight from the Mughal architectural playbook, but they've been incorporated into a masterpiece of Sikh design. This right here is the tomb of Shah Suri. It's a key building that really acts as a bridge between the Sultanate and Mughal styles, and it just beautifully sums up our entire story. From those first kind of rough fusions at the Qutub Minar, all the way to the sublime perfection of buildings like the Taj Mahal and their lasting legacy, Indo-Islamic architecture is just this incredible testament to cultural exchange. It's a story where different ideas didn't just learn to live together. They created something totally new and much greater than the sum of their parts. Which really just leaves us with this final thought. These incredible structures, they aren't just buildings. They are stories carved in stone. Stories of conflict, of creativity, of two cultures coming together. And it makes you wonder, 1,000 years from now, when people look back at the buildings we're putting up today, what story are they going to see?